Okay, so here we are in Quizlet now. Now we're in my Quizlet section, and I'm going to go down to one of my bilingual sets. I've got one, I'll choose physical science flashcards, English, and Bengali. Now, I actually created this flashcards as a means of an example and for some students. Now you can see that it's pretty, especially the flashcards level, it's pretty self-descript what to do. Find the word in English, and then you make the English definition. You find the word in your native language, Bengali, and you find the definition in Bengali. And of course, that could be the opposite, depending on what the student's proficiency level. Maybe they need to find the word in Bengali first, and then the definition in Bengali. So we'll check the flashcards. You see, we have force, and what I think is great is that it gives them the Bengali keyword to latch onto. And it works just like in one language. Both will work in the same way, but they attach meaning to both. Now, one thing we've noticed is that the Learn and the Speller app are a bit difficult, especially when students have languages that have multiple characters or accents, while the Quizlet system does try to provide. I've often found that it's better just to use the flashcards and test and scatter. Even the test, you see the written portion, they allow the use of characters. So mainly pick on matching, multiple choice, and true or false. There you can see that the issue of writing down characters isn't a problem. Scatter also works without a problem. And I think the great thing about this is that it would work in a classroom where you'd have a high degree of students whose native language is English. Maybe you had a classroom where half the students were in English native speaking and the other half were Bengali native speaking. You could use this set for the whole class. Now, I think we'll go look at a set created by a student. Oops. Mistake. We'll try physics vocabulary, English, and Korean. So, for this student, it was actually, their English proficiency was actually higher than their Korean proficiency. So this particular student almost had to spend more effort trying to figure out how to write the terms in Korean than in English. I'll try to highlight. Next time. But as you can see from the huge descriptions, this student was trying to describe the act and terms more carefully. Now this is a great deal of work it takes to make this, and I would recommend that this work should take place at home would be a better situation, where parents could also help in the first language understanding. And as you see, apps like Scatter still work without a problem, but you will have a bigger issue on these ones, like Speller and Learn, where we don't have an opportunity to write the characters. And this becomes a frequent issue for many of the students whose languages have multiple characters. So it takes a great deal of perseverance and planning ahead on your part as a teacher. I'll go back. I'm going to go back to the English Bengali set, and I'm going to try to focus on how you can use this when you're from one of the have-not schools. So before I get into that, you'll have to focus on translating. Because I'm going to assume that many teachers are like myself, are monolingual, and might not have any clue about the language that of the students they teach in. So basically, from experimenting with my own students, I've found that being translator has worked the best. And I've actually used this often in parent-teacher conferences as a way to communicate. Now you can see here, just basic sentences. Now you can see that when it comes to many of the languages with alphabets, it's no problem. But if your computer doesn't have characters installed, like my personal computer here, then you'll have trouble. So it's very important in your work computer that you're able to write down the characters necessary that fits your student body. So if you don't have many resources at your school, you can still use Quizlet, and basically as a means to create bilingual reviews. Now you can create many of these multilingual documents in a fairly short amount of time, especially as you get more and more used to it. You go to, and you could print these out in however manner you want to use them. I like to use these large squares for activities in the class, a type of scatter type activity, but in real life. So hopefully these give you some bilingual strategies to apply in whatever type of context you're teaching.